So 1, 2, 3, go if you're ready. I just need to know when you're going. And then you have to mute yourself right afterwards. Are you there? You're probably muted. Okay. All right. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, push live. Hold on, guys. I'm going to play this little clip for y'all real quick. It's about 7 minutes long, but it's an original news story about Jeffrey Lundgren. You're going to find out that Jeffrey Lundgren is a lot like Chatty Daddy. It's crazy. It's absolutely flabbergasting, if I even said that right. But anyways, just hold tight, and I'm going to learn one day to that I have to present my screen at the same time. So anyways, just hang tight, and we'll get a little on this old ass story. It's old, but it makes a lot of sense.
Six police, firemen, and federal alcohol this afternoon. Grave in the basement of confusion over the exact number of bodies that have been found in a common grave in the basement of this barn along Route 6. Police, firemen, and federal alcohol, tobacco, and firearms agents spent the entire day sifting through the grave. The body of a man was found last night, 2 or 3 others this afternoon, and the search goes on at this hour. Now, here's what we know. 17 members of a religious cult headed by Jeff Lundgren left the church about 2 years ago. Lundgren was a lay minister and volunteer tour guide at the Kirtland Temple. Dale Luffman is president of the local church.
He saw himself as the spiritual leader, and from the reports we've received from persons who kind of picked up from things that members of that community referred to him, they referred to him as their prophet.
Lundgren left the church with his followers after he was threatened with excommunication because of his teachings. Police sources tell me Lundgren and his cult then planned to take over the temple using automatic weapons and taking hostages if they had to. Lundgren reportedly wanted to hold on to the temple until the second coming of Christ.
We're in very close discussion with the law authorities, and they helped us to understand that we needed to be careful about our own personal activities.
Then back last April, FBI agents and police surrounded the farmhouse and questioned the group. That's when the plot fell apart. Dennis and Cheryl Avery wanted out. I'm told that's when the Averys and their 3 little girls were executed, their bodies buried in the barn. The cult left Kirtland, and I'm told it broke up just last month. An informant told federal authorities in Kansas City last week exactly where the bodies were buried. In Kirtland, I'm Bill Yunkin, Eyewitness News.
It seemed to be the best kept secret in town. I still think it is, probably maybe in the nation.
Doris Straka lives near this farm. She was one of the first to notice when the Lundgren family and the brood that lived with them on the property vanished. She and another neighbor finally went over one day to look after the animals, the few that had been left behind, and she's been confused ever since. All she knows is that the kids were nice kids, playing on the lawn, helping out with the chores. She knew especially well Damon, shown here in the Kirtland High School yearbook, and Damon's younger brother, Jason.
They were always polite, nice, well-spoken, normal kids.
Since the Lundgren family disappeared, stories have circulated here in Kirtland. The police scene today became a popular attraction. People who couldn't believe something so horrible could happen in their community.
It's hard to believe that, I've passed this place 100 times, and never, thinking.
But of course, Kirtland, Ohio is the perfect place for such a confrontation by Jeff Lundgren. This is the birthplace of 2 religions. Joseph Smith founded the Latter-day Saints in this church back in 1836. This is holy ground to his followers. The Mormons eventually broke off with Brigham Young and traveled to Utah. Those behind espoused a different theology and called themselves the Reorganized Church of the Latter-day Saints. It was within this faith that Jeff Lundgren tried to promote himself to prophet. And once pressured out, it was against this church that Lundgren wanted to exact his revenge. Whether his revenge led to murder is still being investigated. In Kirtland, Rebecca Shaw, Eyewitness News.
One body at a time. Slowly, paramedics and firemen carried the 5 out of the barn tonight. It took about 8 hours for local police and federal agents to dig through the floor of the barn and exhume the bodies.
It's total mud, flood, clay.
Police aren't saying how they were killed, but the killer had gagged and bound the victims with electrical duct tape. They were then buried under a layer of clay, a layer of stone, and a layer of dirt. Police believe the family was killed and buried in April of 1989. For a year and 9 months, the Kirtland Police Department has been investigating several families who lived together in this house, including the Averys and Jeff Lundgren's family. Police believe Lundgren is the leader of a religious cult responsible for the killings. The FBI stepped into the investigation just before April, after members of the group began threatening Mormon church officials in Kirtland, Kansas City, and Utah. ATF joined the investigation because police believed the cult was stocking up on firearms.
No, there was some mention of paramilitary activities. The individuals that were here complained indicated they were survivalist teachers, and they did practice the survival trades or sports, and they did have weapons, but we examined them. One reason that the one federal agency assisted us was that we wanted to find out if there were any automatic weapons, and there were not.
Police say between 10 and 27 people were living in the house at one time. They're going to continue investigating tomorrow morning to see if there are more bodies.
Like many followers of the teachings of the Reorganized Church of Latter-day Saints, Jeff Lundgren, his family and friends moved here from Missouri. The church was founded in Kirtland, and it was a religious experience to work in the temple. Lundgren became a lay minister in addition to volunteering time acting as a tour guide for visitors. But church leaders like Dale Luffman says he changed. He started preaching the Bible according to his own desires.
Kind of made up the rules as he went. And what was most important was what he said.
His group of followers broke from the church and became known as the Lundgren Commune, operating out of the farmhouse and barn along Route 6.
I would say it was very much cult-like. He saw himself as the spiritual leader.
Dennis and Cheryl Avery and their 3 daughters were among his followers.
They were a family that needed somebody to kind of tell them what to do and when to do it, and it seemed, and I think Jeff fulfilled that.
I've been told Lundgren even convinced some followers to turn over entire paychecks to him.
Seemed to be the best kept secret in town. I still think it is, probably maybe in the nation.
Doris Stratka lives across the street from the farmhouse. She said the Lundgrens and others living there kept to themselves. But last April, neighbors knew something was wrong when police and FBI agents questioned Lundgren and his followers. That action came because of death threats and rumors that Lundgren and his followers were planning to overthrow the Kirtland Church and hold the temple until the second coming of Christ. Church leaders were warned by lawmen to be careful. I've been told some were actually given police protection.
And they helped us to understand that we needed to be careful about our own personal activities.
Sources tell me that police raid in April convinced the Averys to back out of the cult, give up the plan to take over the church. It's believed they were then executed, their bodies buried in the barn, and the group disappeared. 9 months later, the folks here in Kirtland finally know the final chapter of Lundgren's commune.
Okay. I don't know if, I don't think I'm muted anymore. Anyways, isn't that crazy? Like, hold on, I'm trying to find my way to you guys. How's it going? How are y'all doing on this lovely Father's Day? Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, all the daddies, but except for Chatty Daddy. He don't get one. Yeah. Happy Father's Day to all you dads and all you moms who act as mom and dad. Or, whatever fits. Anyways, So it is. It's history. It does repeat itself. And that's the crazy, not the crazy thing. That's evidence for me. You know, it's just like, no, you cannot have this many people saying the same thing over and over and over again. All you do is change the people, but it's the same, it's pretty much the same narrative. It's, they're so similar that it's hard to ignore, you know? So what's causing all these things? I'm starting to think about the Godmaker thing, you know? Godmakers, I think it's a book or something. And I do believe that there's one common denominator, and it's the church. Whether it be RLDS, FLDS, LDS, what have you. Again, I've not had the luxury to go and explore other religions. You know, I do ask questions. I do watch things about Jehovah's Witness or like what's the other one? Branch Davidian. You know how the Branch Davidians straight off, and I was all about it whenever I learned that this was a cult. I was like, oh my God, you know, holy crap. Remember, I was the ignorant one that was like, I told Larry, you know, well, I was like a cult, like, what's his name? Manson? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, he didn't kill nobody. And I was like, he looked at me crazy, as he should have, because I was ignorant and I didn't know. I just didn't think people could make you do anything that you didn't want to. All you had to do was say, no. Hard pass. So, fast forward, and then I learned that, yeah, there's a cult, but it's 16 million, allegedly, and 16 million members strong. And that's a big cult. So I really do, I really don't like whenever people, what do you call it? Like, I guess, narrow it down, or not dumb it down, but they try to make it sound like it's its own cult. And I mean, maybe so, it depends on what definition. But another thing that I have an issue with, and this is just me, I want to know how you feel, because I don't know if I need to put myself in check. But I mean, I understand and I appreciate the work that is done by, let's say, Rick Ross, Steve Hassan. I don't really know any other ones, you know, besides, Christina. I don't remember her last name. It starts with an R, I think, Rossetti or something. And but the things that I've learned is, you know, oh my gosh, Rick Ross, he became who he is because of his aunt being swindled financially. She was the victim of a financial affinity or something like that, crime, and so that's why he is a cult expert. And so I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of, I don't know, maybe I just don't get it. And that's fine. And then Steve Hassan, he was in a cult. And then, so I mean, sure, that's a lot of good insight from there, from his vantage point. That's, I guess, what I've been doing is kind of exploring and, you know, reading into Mormonism. And for every Mormon that comes out of the religion, the best thing they can do is give us insight, you know, into the religion, the cult aspect. And anyways, So then you have Miss Christine, or Dr. Christine Rossetti. I think that's her last name. I'm not sure. And she, it was in FLDS. So what would you, and so this is the question I posed to myself, you know, I'm like, well, how would I feel if Melanie Gibb or Zalema, she seems to be a go-getter, what if she were to become a cult expert for the Daybell cult, allegedly? You know what I mean? Like, how, I have a problem with that. You know, like, I don't, it's kind of, I don't know. It's also like, and I mean, I really do respect Mike King. I really do, a lot. However, I don't know how. Again, maybe it's something that I'm blind to and I need your help, you know, because I don't know if I'm just like, it just doesn't seem right for somebody to explain to me and become like an expert, or be given a platform even, you know, to be the voice, you know, the authoritative person. So anyways, that's how I feel about that. So I don't know. Anyways, these people need to be arrested. Right? Right. And it's nuts. Yeah. I know, Zero. Well, I mean, he came on after all this with the interview room. And so that's what I'm saying. He's worked with an actual cult, you know, who did this sacrificial crap. And you would? Janet says, that's a good question. I'd bet on Gibb over Zalema. Oh my God, I hope not. I hope neither one of them. I don't want them being authoritative of anything, you know, except for maybe their cellmate. That'd be good. Yeah. So okay. So I was watching, what's her name? Summer Sanchez, I think. I wrote it down. Let's see. Summer Sanchez, yeah. And I remember hearing about Jeffrey Lundgren back in 2020. I just did not have, I didn't have it yet. I still don't, you know. But, oh, that's good. Thank you, Anna. Appreciate that. I'm glad. Everybody should do their own research, for sure. For sure. It's very empowering, you know. And it is terrifying. It's freaking terrifying. Big time. So, anyways, let me say hi real quick. Hi, I'm here. Anyways, how are y'all doing? It's good to see you guys here. Thank you for being here. I changed my mind about 3 times yesterday on what I was going to do this on. I had actually ran across chat, and this was like in one day. In one day, I changed my mind 3 times. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I don't usually have this many you know, things that I want to cover. But I had ran back, that's what I do, I orbit, right? And I had ran back across Chad's autobiography. And I had not read it in, however many years. Forgot the stuff that's in there. And I was just like, oh, snap. I really think I went through the whole book of, you know, all, 100 and something pages, maybe. I don't know. Close to 200. And there's so many things in there, you know, where I just think it's good. We'll touch on that, you know, as we go through, you know, the upcoming weeks or whatever. And just revisit it and just kind of go through it and pick it apart. That's what we do. We analyze the hell out of things. Hi, Chris. How are you doing? His books are a horror fest. Yeah, and so is, real life. True story right here. Oh, yeah, and I got this in. That's that box I was trying to open last week. And that's JJ and Todd. So today is Happy Father's Day for my brother. You know, and then of course Uncle Charles and Joe, Ryan, you know. Happy Father's Day to them in heaven. So, anywho, I forget. I gotta think. It's not fun thinking. Let me turn my camera back off. It seems like I can think a little better with my camera off. I don't know why. It's weird. But okay, let me go run to my Canva app and open some stuff. Allegedly. So, how are y'all enjoying your Father's Day? What everybody do this weekend? Besides, KJ's over there just living it up on her boat. She was cracking me up. But they deserve it, boy. They do. They're some good people. Alright, let me see. What did I put up here already? Oh goodness. Let's see. I fluster myself is what I do. So I'm trying to be easier on myself. So let's see. Alright. And so this is these are those folks. These are the Kirtland Cult Killings. The prison sentences. From the top row, from the left, this is Jeffrey Lundgren. Let me make sure y'all can see me. Oh, nope, you can't. What? That's weird. Oh, because I'm hogging this stupid thing. Alright, my bad. Okay, so the Kirtland Cult Killings, and it says the prison sentences. Top row from left, Jeffrey Lundgren is right here. There you go. Wow. That's a nice group of people there. Look at this one. She looks a little frightened. Or something. Look at that. Don't they have the same look? I have not stopped to look at their eyes. Whoa. Whoa. That's crazy. Or maybe it's just me. Seems like their eyes are all dilated or something. Like Lori. Ew. Look at that one with his hair coming out. Anyways, alright, let me stop. Top row from left, Jeffrey Lundgren is right here. Then we have Alice Lundgren. Damon Lundgren is their son. He was 19 years old when he got arrested, I think, or I don't remember if we'll learn together. And then we have, and I don't know how to say their last name, but this is Ronald B. Luff, Daniel D. Kraft, Sharon, I don't know this one, Bluntschli, I don't know, Richard E. Brand, Catherine Johnson, and then we have, let me back it out a little bit. Then we have this chick right here, and she's Susan Luff, so that'd be Ronald's wife, right above her. And then we have Deborah Oliveras, Gregory Winship, Dennis Patrick, and Tanya Patrick. That's crazy looking. Anyway, so this, of course, the murders happened in 1987, so this was a whole different time. I was like 9. But let's see. Alright, it says the Office of Lake County Prosecuting Attorney Stephen, I think it's LaTourette or something like that. Actually, I had her read the article, so I can just play that instead of me botching it up with my not so great reading skills. Something about reading in public. I'm just not great at it. And so, let me grab. Let me grab my speaker. I don't want to set it on the counter with it because it will probably rattle it. Let's see. Alright. Well, my phone's been acting really jerky lately. Every time ever since I had the last Apple iOS update, I don't know, it's been real janky. So, I'm not too confident. I'm about to just ditch Apple. I'm sick of it. Every time it's time, for a whatever, update or whatever, that's when my storage gets full. I'm like, well, that's convenient, huh? Alright, let me see if it'll play this time. No. Alright, whatever. Let me Google it. That'd be best. That's such a weird last name. And so, yeah, I was watching Summer Sanchez's channel, and it reminded me, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot about this. I had watched her when she came out with the video 6 months ago, and she's been, I was just like, oh my god, and so last night I was like, oh my, this is what I have to do it on, because there's so many things that are just too alike. So if anybody would go and check her little playlist out, she's really good. She's thorough too. Okay, let me open this up. Yeah. Oh my gosh, come on, computer. It's being very slow. Come on. It's like, it's got to think about it first. It'll be right with me in just a few moments. Now it's making me sign in. Love, love, love. Yes, confirm. Who knows? I probably signed over my whole life or something by now. Do you ever wonder that? Okay. Oh, hold on. Let me stop sharing because I'm having to do this crap. Oh my goodness. It just dropped me. Like, it's not even looking for the article anymore. That was weird. Let's try this again. I mean, I could just open my damn phone up and read it from there. But I just kind of wanted to show you guys too. It's just being difficult, difficult. It's difficult research, don't you know? But like, some of the similarities I found were they called Jeffrey Lundgren Dad. Okay. They called him Dad and her mom. Sound familiar? Sounds like some Melanie Pawlowski. Another thing was the dancing. There was dancing. There's something going on in them damn temples, I'm telling you. And I don't want to know what it is. I really don't. I just want it to fix it. I just want them to get an attitude adjustment. That's all I want. I'm just asking them not to be shitty people. And, because it's not good. It's just not good. Alright, let me try sharing again. I'm so sorry, guys. And girls. Alright, there's some people again. This would have been much easier from jump. Okay, make sure you can see. Okay, yes, we're on the same page. This thing's still spinning over here. There we go. Let's listen to this chick. Well, She'll have to think about it too. Come on. Okay, in January 1990, paramilitary religious cult leader Jeffrey Lundgren and 12 of his followers were indicted in Lake County Common Pleas Court in connection with the execution-style murders in April of 1989. His wife Cheryl and their daughters Trina, Rebecca, and Karen. And the little girl was like 6. The office of Lake County Prosecuting Attorney Stephen LaTourette
Kirtland Cult Killers.
Oh, crap.
The prison sentences.
Let me turn it off.
In January 1990, paramilitary religious cult leader Jeffrey Lundgren and 12 of his followers were indicted in Lake County Common Pleas Court in connection with the execution-style murders in April 1989 of Dennis Avery, his wife Cheryl, and their daughters Trina, Rebecca, and Karen. The Office of Lake County Prosecuting Attorney Stephen LaTourette secured convictions against Lundgren, his wife Alice Lundgren, son Damon Lundgren, and cult member Ronald Luff in separate jury trials. Jeffrey Lundgren was found guilty on 5 counts of aggravated murder in August 1990 and received the death sentence. After spending more than 16 years behind bars and having exhausted all appeals, Lundgren was executed by lethal injection on October 26, 2006. Above, view an interactive summary of the current status of the other cult members who still are incarcerated. On mobile? Tap here to view the interactive summary. Alice E. Lundgren. Sentence: 150 years to life on 5 counts each of aggravated murder and kidnapping. Site: Ohio Reformatory for Women. Admission date: October 17, 1990. Age: 63. Eligible for parole: 2092. Damon P. Lundgren. Sentence: 120 years to life on 4 counts each of aggravated murder and kidnapping. Site: Mansfield Correctional Institution. Admission date: October 17, 1990. Age: 44. Eligible for parole: 2098. Ronald B. Luff. Sentence: 170 years to life on 5 counts each of aggravated murder and kidnapping. Site: Allen Correctional Institution.
I think that's
Admission
in Louisiana. Allen
January
Correctional?
24th, 1991.
Maybe.
Age:
Ew.
54.
Eligible for parole: 2048. Daniel D. Kraft. Sentence: 50 years to life on 5 counts of aggravated murder and 3 counts of kidnapping. Site: Mansfield Correctional Institution. Admission date: November 19, 1990. Age: 50. Eligible for parole:
Holy crap.
2024.
Holy crap.
These cult members pleaded
guilty, completed their sentences, and have been paroled or released. Sharon J. Blunchley. Sentence: 7 to 25 years for 5 counts of conspiracy to commit aggravated murder. Admission date: February 5, 1991. Paroled: January 4, 2011. Time served: 19 years, 11 months. Richard E. Brand. Sentence: 15 years to life on 5 counts of aggravated murder. Admission date: February 8, 1991. Paroled: March 29, 2010. Time served: 19 years, 50 days. Catherine R. Johnson. Sentence: 1 year for obstruction of justice. Admission date: February 5, 1991. Release date: August 23, 1991, expiration of sentence. Susan Luff. Sentence: 7 to 25 years for 5 counts of conspiracy to commit aggravated murder. Admission date: February 5, 1991. Paroled. January 11, 2011. Time served. 19 years, 11 months. Asterisk Deborah Olivares. Sentence. 7 to 25 years on 5 counts of conspiracy to commit aggravated murder. Admission date. May 6, 1991. Paroled. January 4, 2011. Time served. 19 years, 6 months. Asterisk Gregory Winship. Sentence. 15 years to life on 5 counts of aggravated murder. Admission date. February 11, 1991. Paroled. December 30, 2010. Time served. 19 years, 10 months. These cult members did not do jail time in connection with the Avery deaths. Asterisk Dennis Patrick. Sentence. 18 months, suspended, placed on 1-year probation for obstructing justice. Asterisk Tanya Patrick. Sentence. 18 months, suspended, placed on 1-year probation for obstructing justice. Source. Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction. More. Kirtland Cult Killings. Timeline, Multimedia, and more.
Sorry, had to turn my air back off. I turn it on whenever I can hide behind the thing and listen. Anyways, let's see. Oh my goodness. Oh crap, that's too tiny. Look at him. It's just nuts. It says, oh, I gotta scoot over to that one. Hello. I was showing y'all the picture of him. That's Jeffrey Lundgren. And it's crazy because I opened up his case file from Case Text or whatever, and it is so interesting because he got the death penalty, right? Which is a lot like Chatty Daddy. It's probably about to catch up and scoot down real quick, so I'm sorry. It's not scrolling right now. My computer's locked up. Oh my God. If I thought as much as it did, then holy hell. Come on. It's acting ridiculous. Come on. Anyways, the wheels of justice turn quickly. Some would say remarkably so. In the Kirtland Cult killing case, slightly less than... let me make it bigger. It's either really big or really small. That's what she said. Anyways, some would say remarkably so. In the Kirtland Cult killing case, slightly less than 12 months elapsed between January 3rd and 4th, 1990, when 5 bodies were found buried in Chardon Road barn, and December 20th, 1990, when a guilty verdict was delivered in the last of 4 jury trials tied to the worst mass murder in the history of Lake County. The man at the center of the swirl of legal activity was Steve LaTourette, I don't know, then 35 years old and beginning his 2nd year as a Lake County prosecutor. Sounds like Rob Wood, even, because he was brand new at this too. He was a lawyer before that, but it was like, I remember him saying when I met him, it had something to do with waterways or, that kind of stuff. So, but anyways, there was, it says, quote, "There was no playbook to go by because something like this didn't happen before in Lake County." How many times have we heard that? "I was a relatively new prosecutor in a place where not many major crimes come up in a year," LaTourette said recently in a telephone interview. Let me go ahead and get this queued up. Lord. Get it thinking. On the morning of January 5th, 1990, hours after 5 bodies were removed from the crude burial pit, LaTourette secured from the county grand jury a multi-count aggravated murder indictment against self-styled prophet and cult leader Jeffrey Lundgren. Lundgren The indictment charged was the mastermind and triggerman in the April 17th, 1989 shooting deaths of Dennis Avery, his wife Cheryl, and their daughters, 15-year-old Trina, 13-year-old Rebecca, and 7-year-old Karen. The prosecutor's office also obtained multi-count felony indictments against Lundgren's wife, Alice, his 19-year-old son, Damon, and cult members Richard Brand, Sharon Blunchley, Catherine Johnson, Daniel Kraft, Ronald Luff, Susan Luff, Deborah, I forgot how to say it. Oh, I don't know. Deborah O, Dennis Patrick, Tanya Patrick, and Gregory Winship. Charges against the 12 accomplices ranged from conspiracy to commit aggravated murder, complicity to aggravated murder, and kidnapping. We need some complicity. Charges, please. Party of 5. All right, Steve felt very, very strongly this was a capital case and wanted to make sure we had the right combinations of charges in the indictments, said Karen Kowall, then and now the chief assistant in the prosecutor's office's criminal division. Those indictments were accompanied by the issuance of arrest warrants for Lundgren and his alleged accomplices. Inside of 1 week, all of the suspects were in police custody. I'll leave judgments about the speed of this process to others, but I will say we had dedicated teams of lawyers and law enforcement professionals working closely together to make sure justice was served in this terrible crime, LaTourette said. April 13th, 1990, when Jeffrey Lundgren was processed into Lake County Jail after delays in his extradition from California, LaTourette had secured the first plea deal with... Oh, okay. I was like, I thought he was a prosecutor. Anyways, LaTourette had secured the first plea deal with one of the indicted cult members. With benefit of hindsight, that plea deal helped place Jeffrey Lundgren on the road to death row. The dominoes fall. Let me take a drink. Excuse me. All right. The dominoes fall. Richard Brand was 26 years old when he was arrested in connection with the Avery murders. A college graduate with a degree in civil engineering, Brand belonged to the Reorganized Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or RLDS for short. And Donna had pulled some slides up too that we can go over real quick. Let's see. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, my computer just glitched. I'm so sorry if it's acting bad. So why is the story of Jeffrey Lundgren important? Why is this important to us? Over the course of time, these things repeat themselves. Daybells, Lundgrens, Laffertys, LeBarons, Orson Black Jr., and how many more? Question. We need to find out why. All right. Okay. LDS versus RLDS, how and why? To any of us who aren't Mormons, the difference between LDS and RLDS seems to be only a letter. Yet the differences between these two churches are pronounced. The split originated all the way back in 1844 after the death of the religion's founding prophet, Joseph Smith Jr. 3/4 of Joseph Smith Jr.'s followers followed Brigham Young to Utah. And that's what we see. That's what this turned into be. That's what we label as mainstream. You know, that's quote unquote mainstream. And I hate that word. So, anyways, so some people believed that the prophet Joseph Smith, whenever him and Hiram Smith were, they say martyred, I say murdered, or maybe karma. And I'm not trying to be ugly, but it's just, you know, you can't put out and you get what you put out. You can't act like that, you know? So, but anyway, so whenever Joseph Smith and his brother Hiram died, Joseph the third, or whatever, Joseph Smith's son, a lot of people think that he should have became prophet, but Brigham Young, who is a big believer in blood atonement, by the way, he's responsible for Mountain Meadows massacre, all kinds of shady shit. Okay. I'm reading Jay's comment. Hold on. I'd like to know when. Okay. I'd like to know when the 3 victims' murders are going to be recorded on Rexburg crime statistics. They were proven to be murders, and somehow they are still not in the public databases. I wonder how quick they do that. Like, Lori? You're talking about Lori? Okay. I don't know. I'm trying to read between the lines. But yeah, I mean, that's interesting, right? They update everything else. Speaking of, I read the victims' rights, okay? And I was like, this is taken out of context. This is just picking and choosing, yet they're still covering their ass as far as who can be a victim and make a victim impact statement. You ain't got to label me a victim. Just let me make a damn statement, you know? Anyways, so yeah, there's that too. So, Joseph Smith Jr.'s followers followed Brigham Young to Utah and became the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or LDS, which is mainstream. The remaining quarters stayed in Nauvoo, Illinois, following Joseph Smith Jr.'s son, memorably named Joseph Smith III. This fragment became the Reorganized Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or RLDS. Okay, today the LDS Church reports over 16 million members, while the Community of Christ reports 250,000. Okay, let's see. LDS versus RL. Ooh. Hold on, it's doing a circle. Oh my God, yeah. It says the purple line is for
pressure.
Yeah.
Just go with this one. The other one was
just go with this one. The other one was too detailed.
Okay. What do you mean go with it? I'll just, yeah. Oops. The purple line is for LDS Church, 16 million. So the purple line's right here. Chad and Lori Daybell right here. The blue line is for RLDS Church, 250,000. All the other lines is for LDS and RLDS break off churches. How many? Too many. One too many. However many too many. Let's see. And it says 1984 RLDS Christ Church allowed women into the priesthood. I remember this. Or reading about this. Jeffrey Lundgren thought this way was so wrong, right? It's crazy because like he was this allegedly this self-purported prophet or whatever, but in all actuality he really depended on Alice, his wife, to guide him basically. So just know that about her. And it says 16 million. LDS in Mormonism, most men become ordained as priests and are then eligible to ascend the church hierarchy. Women are not allowed to follow this path, instead serving in organizations known as relief societies, secret second anointing, right? Oh, and they get to wife up with people too, just in case you wanted to know that, allegedly. And RLDS, the World Conference delegates voted to accept the document as having divine origins, and it became Section 156 in the Sacred Doctrine and Covenants, a book that RLDS believes contains modern revelation for their church. Women could officially be ordained to the priesthood in the RLDS, or the Community of Christ Church. So those papers that I've shared with you guys before, it was a while back. It was probably about a year ago now. But Val Brinkerhoff, he's, I want to say allegedly, I'm just going to say allegedly because I don't know, and he's a millionaire. So I'm just going to say that I think that he's more into the Church of Christ or the RLDS than he is with the mainstream LDS. If I had to guess from reading his work and everything, because that's where I got to go no more out, that quote unquote to go no more out, which that's the eternal lives thing. It's so confusing, especially when you don't know it. I didn't grow up in this, so it's like, I mean, I'm just a brand new baby in this. But I'm so glad that Donna made these. So this one, let's see, this is the last one. Spiritual prophecy, a revelation. A patriarch in the church told Alice and the other campers a prophecy. He said that their generation would be, oh yeah, I mean, this, I forget which prophet this was. I want to say, oh, if anybody knows, let me know, because it's right. Is it Hinckley? Maybe? I don't know. Anyways, he said that their generation would be the ones to see Christ return and build Zion. And then looked at Alice and said, quote, "And unto you, my daughter Alice, thus saith the Lord, you shall have the answers to your prayers, and you shall marry a companion whom I've prepared, and bring forth my kingdom, and he shall be great in the eyes of these people and shall do much good." Just know that more good, much good, anything like that, more just, more men, more good, it's kind of, I mean, it's just, it means something else. Do much good unto the children of men, for I have prepared him to bring forth a marvelous work and wonder. When Alice heard this, she was in shock because she had recently been praying about her future husband, but she hadn't told anyone about that. So she really took this as a sign that whoever she ended up marrying would be someone instrumental in God's plan, right? And so it's just kind of like how Lori and Chad are. Well, Lori for sure. We don't know as much about Chad as far as like gossip. You know, oh, another thing that was, let me pull it up too, because I'm going to sit here and to death if I don't. Gotta love it. Oh, way too small. Yeah, I already read this one. Let me put that one away. They're all the same damn article. That's stupid. Let me talk to myself. It's fun. Alright, let me go to, I'm in my Canva app. Hold on just one second. I got to pull my projects up. I'm sorry, I'm mumbling too. Just say, hey Crash, it's okay. You don't have to fill the airwaves with your voice. We're not mad. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to kind of, I guess, kind of give you a heads up really, is that I'm going to start talking and introducing SRA, which is the Satanic Ritual Abuse and Ritual Murder. It's so uncomfortable to talk about though. So I know that some people are not going to be interested in it, and I totally understand. I get it, but I feel like I have to. I can't avoid it. I can't ignore it. I've tried, trust me, for about 2 years, you know. I've been like, no, that's not it. What? But I mean, it's at least worth exploring, and that's where I always come back for some reason. I don't know why. Probably because it's has something to do with it. But it's just, it's nuts. These poor kids, these poor victims, you know. I mean, they're just so vicious, and this is not it. It's not just Lundgren. It's not just Chad. It's not just, like, you know, what's his name? LeBaron, the Laffertys. I mean, it's just, it's too many coinkydinks, you know? They couldn't hide this crazy. So I just kind of want to give you a heads up on that. I was going to talk about it today, but then this came up, and I'm really slow at it right now. Let's see. Let me open this folder. It is so warm in here. Like, the air's not moving. And that really sucks. Alright, just hang tight. This is ridiculous. Should be right here in my... Let me get back out of here. Let me just go with what I got. Okay. It's like, no. Hold on. Okay. I've never had Canva do that to me. Let's see. It's opening it, allegedly. I'll take this moment and have a sip of my Dr. Pepper. Oh my gosh. Whatever. Okay. I don't know. So I'm just going to read from it, if y'all don't mind. I don't know why. It's saying you can still add a link to the Canva doc, or try embedding or adding any designs that isn't a Canva doc. Well, what if I just want to open it? You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Stop telling me no. This is aggravating. Because I loaded it into there. I'm literally sweating, but that's just mainly because the air's off. It wouldn't be so damn loud, right? Alright, I'm just going to read off the... Okay, hold on. This is going to piss me off. If it wasn't for bad luck, I'd have none at all, guys. For real. Alright, let's see. Oh, my dad texted me back. My real dad. Okay, and this is State versus Lundgren. Hell, I might be able to just pull it up like everything else. Lundgren. Just yet? No, case text. There we go. Alright, I'm opening this doc up. Allegedly, it's thinking. Anyways, I'm just going to go ahead, and this is a little bit of background on how this went, okay? Alright, so this is case number 97-L-198, decided December 18th, 1998. Character of proceedings, civil appeal from the Court of Common Pleas, case number 90CR00019, judgment affirmed, and then here's all this stuff. I'll leave y'all a link. Let me copy and let me paste. Oh, it's not even showing y'all, so I'm glad I came back over here. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I don't know why my computer, and I even restarted it before I came on just in case. So anyways, I just threw the link in the chat, and so you're feel free to, you know, go in and check it out. Do your own research, right? Alright, I forgot to hide myself. Okay. View tab. It should be sharing it. I don't know why it's not. Let me try this. Present share. Whatever. Alright, finally. Alright. Oh my gosh, it's huge too. Alright, this is an appeal from the judgment entry of the Lake County Court of Common Pleas in which the court granted appellees, the state of Ohio, motion to dismiss appellants Alice Lundgren, petition to vacate or set aside sentence. Let me get down to, okay. Appellant was indicted by the Lake County Grand Jury on January 5th, 1990 on 5 counts of aiding and abetting in the commission of aggravated murder, 5 counts of conspiracy to commit aggravated murder, and 5 counts of kidnapping. Each of these 15 counts arose from an incident in April of 1989 in which 5 family members, consisting of 2 adults and 3 children, were murdered at appellant's residence in Kirtland, Ohio. In May 1990, the grand jury returned a second indictment against appellant containing 5 counts of complicity in the commission of aggravated murder, 1 count of conspiracy to commit aggravated murder, and 5 counts of kidnapping. In July 1990, the trial court ordered appellant to be tried on the complicity and conspiracy counts contained in the first indictment and the kidnapping counts contained in the second indictment. The kidnapping counts in the first indictment and the complicity, oh my god, I'm already lost. And the complicity and conspiracy counts in the second indictment were dismissed. On August 6, 1990, a jury found appellant guilty on all 15 counts. On September 5th, 1990, the trial court sentenced appellant to serve consecutive terms of incarceration of 20 years to life on each of the 5 counts of aiding and abetting in the commission of aggravated murder, and consecutive terms of incarceration of 10 to 25 years on each of the 5 counts of kidnapping. That's a lot of years. Also, the sentences imposed on the 5 counts of kidnapping were to be served consecutively, right, to the 5 counts of aiding and abetting. Finally, pursuant to RC Code 292301G, as a result of merger, no sentence was imposed on the 5 counts of conspiracy to commit aggravated murder. On September 20th, 1990, appellant filed a notice of appeal with this court in State v. Lundgren, April 22, 1994. That's my best friend's birthday. Not 94, but anyways. Lake appellant, I'm not reading all the numbers. Unreported, this court affirmed the decision of the trial court. The record further reveals that on October 24th, 1994, the Supreme Court of Ohio filed a judgment entry overruling appellant's motion to file a delayed appeal. On the same date, the Supreme Court of Ohio also filed a separate judgment entry overruling appellant's motion for reconsideration. They are long-winded. Or long, you know what I mean. Neither of appellant's 2 motions are contained in the record, and there is no indication of when appellant filed those 2 motions. Only through the 2 Supreme Court judgment entries is it clear that appellant filed such motions. Okay, come on. I want to get to the background here. Okay, it says on September 20th, 1996, appellant filed a petition to vacate or set aside sentence pursuant to RC 295321 in the Lake County Court of Common Pleas and requested an evidential hearing on that matter, or on the matter. Appellant filed her petition partly on the basis that shortly after the last trial of all of her co-defendants, Assistant Prosecutor Cynthia, or Sassy, I guess, published a book about the death of the Averly family. Interesting. That is so interesting. Wow. The Assistant Prosecutor, Cynthia, published a book about the death of the Averly family, the 5-member family murdered in 1989 at appellant's residence. In the petition, appellant asserted 4 claims that were based on information supposedly revealed in, I'm going to say Sassy's book. 1. The prosecutor withheld or suppressed material. exculpatory evidence that was requested in discovery. Holy crap. Can you imagine? Wow. I mean, oh, I shouldn't have done that. I then confused my computer. Let me clear my throat. Okay. Number 2, the prosecutor withheld or failed to disclose the written statements or written summaries of oral statements made by her co-defendants to the prosecutor's office. Number 3, the prosecutor denied her counsel the opportunity to discuss with the co-defendants their testimony prior to trial. So that's Chad and Lori's face-to-face, right? They got denied. Number 4, the cumulative effect of the numerous errors committed at trial denied her a fair trial. Okay. In response, on February 27th, 97, appellee filed a motion to dismiss appellant's petition without a hearing on the basis that the petition failed to state any grounds for relief, and all of the issues averred an appellant's petition were raised on direct appeal, thus barred from further litigation by res judicata, whatever. On July 9th, 1997, the trial court entered judgment granting appellee's motion to dismiss appellant's claim without a hearing. In that judgment entry, the trial concluded that appellant's 4 claims consisted of broad conclusory statements that were unsupported by operative facts sufficient to establish substantive. Oh my God. Y'all don't laugh. Or laugh, because I'm laughing. Grounds for relief, and were also barred by that word again. On August 6, 1997, appellant filed a notice of appeal with this court and now asserts the following assignments of error. The trial court erred to the prejudice of appellant when it dismissed appellant's petition on the grounds she could prove no set of facts warranting relief. 2. The trial court erred to the prejudice of appellant when it entered a summary judgment and dismissed her petition. I thought this was... Hold on, I'm going to go look down here because it just doesn't seem like the right one. Oop. Just want to see. It just doesn't... It seems like more her, and it was him. Because it went right into the background. That's a lot of crap to be reading. Just... I mean, it's interesting still, but... Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, no. This is... Okay, I didn't even know this one existed, so... There's that. Alright, let me look at this again. So it's good to see how the courts handle these type of things, especially him, because he was he was put to death, you know? And she's serving 150 years. Alright, let's open this one. Allegedly. And I'm looking. Interesting. All right. And then a lot of people use these as, you know, to cite their cases. You know, kind of like in Koberger's case, I've noticed that now that Judge Boyce has, you know, banned cameras in the courtroom, now other judges, he set the precedence for it, you know? So now they can cite why Judge Boyce took cameras out of the courtroom. And so that's just not cool. Yeah, in my opinion. That's just me and my opinionated ass telling you how I feel about that. Alright, let me go ahead and just look and see if... Because I opened one. Let me check it. Okay. Yeah, this is... Okay, good. All right, so this is Lundgren. Let me share this tab instead. Make sure it's switched. I'm glad y'all are here. Still, I'm checking in here. Hey, Squeaky Will, Carrie Ann, and Jay. Denicia Rose. Right? There's a lot of people that collect those. The records and stuff. Because the church owns a lot of land, it turns out. Actually, we already checked into this a long time ago. But, oh, you're going to see so many similarities. Hold on. Let me hide this so I can get back over there. Okay, so this is... let me go ahead and just copy and paste the link over in chat so I can give it to you. Alright, it is in chat. Alright, so this is State versus Lundgren 93-2179, and this is August 30th, 1995, the decision date. Okay, it says, this is page 474, Ohio State, whatever, State of Ohio Appellee versus Lundgren Appellant. Supreme Court of Ohio, submitted March 7th, 95, decided August 30th, 95. Okay. In August 1990, a Lake County jury found cult leader Jeffrey Lundgren guilty of the kidnapping and murder of 5 of his followers, all members of the Avery family. Okay, end of story. Sorry, end of sentence. The following summarizes the facts most relevant on appeal. So these are the most relevant facts. I wish we could have all of them, right? And this is back in 87, so they didn't have the internet. Lundgren's background. Lundgren was born in Missouri and raised in the RLDS. While attending college, Lundgren met and married his wife Alice. Unsuccessful in school, Lundgren joined the Navy and served in the Vietnam War in the early 70s. After his honorable discharge in 74, he unsuccessfully held a series of hospital maintenance and other jobs in Missouri. Lundgren's religious beliefs form the foundation of this case. That's interesting, right? Although the RLDS, headquartered in Independence, Missouri, differs from the Utah-based Mormon church. Anyways, both religions trace their origins to the prophet Joseph Smith Jr., who published the Book of Mormon in 1830. That's funny how they say published it and didn't, correct the Bible. Anyways, speaking of, there's Davies County, I think, in Utah that banned Bibles. There's a primary schools that banned Bibles. So if it's part of their curriculum, just how does a Mormon, believe in the Bible, have them taken away in Utah, in Utah Mormons, country land, That's just blows my mind. Anyways, for violence and what else did they say? Violence and I want to say the nakedness or whatever I'm trying to say, something like that. Anyways, yeah, just Google that Bible ban or something in Utah. You'll find it. Nuts. In summer 1984, Lundgren and his family moved from Missouri to Kirtland so that Lundgren could serve as a senior temple guide. Okay? You know who did this before? You know who did that? Whose role is this right here? Senior temple guide. A job that had no pay but included family lodging. Guess who had in her LinkedIn bio, Miss Audrey Baratero had in her LinkedIn bio, back in the day, whenever I first heard her name, and I Googled it and researched and dig and dig and dig. That's all I do is dig. I'm a digger. She had in her job history that she worked for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and that she was a groundskeeper. Okay. She's also into herbs. She's an herbologist. And, you know, as we now know, she, in my opinion, is a freaking liar. She's a liar and everybody fell for it. And I have no, nothing for that piece of shit. Okay. I'm sorry. I said it. Okay. She took, anyways, let me shut up. So, it's just crazy because Audrey very much has a lot to do with this. Very much. She played everybody. That was called acting. Anyways, that's my opinion. That's my gut feeling too. Okay, so she worked, you know, she showed Lori the sights, remember? I remember seeing it in the FOIA docs. And after every murder occurred, Audrey, it was on the phone with Lori. Not just being her go-between. That was a bullshit story, in my opinion. I mean, why would you need that? That doesn't make any sense, is what I'm saying. She's part of this. Okay. Okay, so Lundgren, oh my god, where was I at even? Okay, let me start right here. In summer 1984, Lundgren and his family moved from Missouri to Kirtland so that Lundgren could serve as a senior temple guide, a job that had no pay but did include family lodging. Lundgren initially attracted favorable attention in his Sunday school classes and as a guide. Now notice, they're also only going to say mainly the Bible. This is another way the church, in my opinion, whichever one, or both churches, all the LDSs, okay, distance themselves from any accountability is because they start to throw this narrative. That's when the cult leader or the cult member becomes the cult authoritarian, in my opinion. They get to set the narrative, not the church. The church never said anything. It don't need to. It has their members that do that for them, right? We've all ran into them. They come in, you know, I mean, I seem to have run most of them out. And I mean, I'm trying to be as compassionate as I can. I can love the person and separate them and compartmentalize and separate them from their beliefs. You know, I don't like I'm not going to say who they worship. I don't like the people or the church that Lori believed in. I don't like the church that Chad believed in or any of these other people, okay? That's a nice way of putting it, I guess. Okay, so he moved there in 1984 in the summer to Kirtland so he could be a senior temple guide. And that doesn't come with any pay, right? But it did. They were lodged there for free, or in lieu. Lundgren initially attracted favorable attention in his Sunday school classes and as a guide. William Russell, a religion professor at an RLDS college, testified that Lundgren knew Scripture exceptionally well, especially the Book of Mormon, and followed the chiastic method of Scripture interpretation, which involves searching text for recurring patterns. However, Lundgren did not understand the Bible's historical context. Okay, what's that got to do with the Book of Mormon? Intended to concentrate on the esoteric method. So basically, hopefully it'll say it. Lundgren generally fit within the traditions of the RLDS faith in that he described visions, direct spiritual experiences. He talked to Jesus. He had a second comforter, y'all. And God speaking directly to prophets. Okay. There's something going on in that god dang temple. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's mind control. I don't know if they are drugging them up. I don't know what's going on in there. But they all have black eyes when they come out. I'm just saying. It's just not, something's wrong. Something's very wrong. Okay, let me shut up. Over the next 3 years, Lundgren served as a temple guide and taught classes on the Bible, in the Did I already read this? Oh, and the Book of Mormon. Despite the church's direction to turn over all money received from temple visitors to the church, Lundgren solicited and kept contributions received from visitors. This is called fraud, or stealing, actually. Temple contributions dropped dramatically. Well, how come there was no temple no charges from the church with the murders? You know what I mean? Like, anyways. Temple contributions dropped dramatically, and the temple bookstore also suffered fund shortages. The church eventually removed Lundgren as a religion teacher. Oh, they shunned him. And in October 87, fired him as temple guide and evicted him from his quarters next to the temple. The cult. From 1985 on, Lundgren attracted a substantial following in his classes because of his knowledge. Huh. Well, how? Hold on. The church eventually removed him as a religion teacher. So how did he, unless simultaneously, how, you know what I mean? How can he continue gaining a following and influencing people if he's no longer in the role? Let's continue. Okay. Eventually, Kevin Curry. Yeah, because it says on from 85 on. So this says 87. Lundgren. Okay, so 2 years is when they fired him. So Lundgren attracted a substantial following in his classes because of his knowledge of religious texts. Eventually, Kevin Curry and Sharon B. moved in with the Lundgrens, as did Richard Brand, Daniel Kraft, and Gregory Winship. Debbie Olivares joined the group in April of 88. Those living with the Lundgrens called him Dad and contributed their paychecks and other money for common group expenses. You know, is that what all that life insurance money was for? You know? I haven't gotten too far into it to know if there's insurance money on these people. Two couples, Ron and Susan Luff and Dennis and Tanya Patrick, also contributed money but did not live with the Lundgrens. In the spring of 87, the Avery family moved from Missouri to follow Lundgren's teachings. Well, that sounds familiar too. But in the spring of 87, the Avery family moved from Missouri to follow Lundgren's teachings. Sounds like Chad. What they're trying to pin on Chad, but existed, because Julie Rowe talked about the cities of light, as did every freaking body else, okay? I mean, it's everywhere. The Avery family included Dennis, age 49, Cheryl, 46, and their daughters, Trina, age 15, Rebecca, age 13, and Karen, I'm sorry, she was age 7. I said she was 6. After Lundgren's eviction, he and his family, and there's some shady stuff behind this too, y'all. He was into some really dirty stuff, like I don't even know what it is. Some really crazy sexual stuff. Anyways, yeah, I'd evict him too. Anyways, after his eviction, he and his family and followers moved to a rented farmhouse. There, Lundgren continued his classes, stressing the importance of the Kirtland Temple. According to Lundgren, his followers had to recapture the temple. An earthquake would elevate it, and Christ would return and establish Zion. Crazy, huh? Lundgren also spoke of his conversations with God and his visions. He discussed the Book of Revelations and the Book of Mormon and referred to pruning the vineyard. That means waxing some people, okay? That means blood atonement. There's different words, just like Chad and Lori had to, I say had to because I think they got orders, in my opinion. I think that's what this is. I picture Amazing Race. I think that's the show that used to come on where, however, I don't remember it verbatim, but it just gives me that vibe. It's like they go into the temple. They get coupled up with their bloodline. They're equal in the bloodline, because that's what Mormons do, allegedly, in my opinion. They're all about genealogy, right? And you know how whenever if I can just be frank with y'all and just speak my mind for a second and just take it as opinion, because that's what it is. I just can't help it anymore. I can't keep it inside anymore. But everything that the church has taught, in my opinion, its members, which is to, the Gadian robbers, secret combinations, everything like that, and even like how they dubbed Brandon as being one of Hitler's whatever. Everything that they're saying, to be scared of, like Satan even, all these things they say, it's projection, in my opinion, because I think they are that. You know what I'm saying? I've said that about, as I've kind of grown through this, that I've learned that we're all projectors, in my opinion, and we just kind of project onto other people the things that we feel, the things that we're lacking, so I don't know. It just seems to me to be that. I'm very hot right now too. Okay, so let me just get back to this. All right, so they're going to prune the vineyard, okay? And they need to kill 10 followers before Zion could be created. So that's the bam. So I just feel like that Amazing Race, like I was telling you, and it's like they get married in the temple, or paired up, okay? And it's got to do with the blood lineage, family lineage, or whatever. And that's what makes you an elite, not whether you have money. I mean, that might be the pattern. That might be what little we know, because that's all we know. I mean, it's not like it's transparent or anything. It's secret. The anointings and things, the second anointings, all that stuff is secret, because not even its general membership knows about it. So that's what I think happened, is that the church matched them up, and then that set all this into motion. The church is the influence. If I'm just being honest with you, that's what I've been wanting to say forever. So there needs to be some more indictments and some more charges going out. I don't know. Anyways, I feel like they're assigned, or I don't know how it works. I don't know. I just get this vibe, very bad. And it's just these roles that are assigned to them. You know how Chad was doing his pendulum thing and telling everybody who they were in a past life? I think that's just part of the story. I don't know. I sound crazy. I sound like Julie Rowe. I'm not. I can't help it, It's just so crazy. I've always felt like it went to the leadership. I just didn't know how to tell people, or how to even connect it myself at the time. I'm doing that now. So, I mean, it just confirms what my gut told me in the very beginning of this, and plus this dude has my birthday, by the way, May 3rd. But you're about to see some more comparisons. Okay. Eventually, the men in the group undertook paramilitary training to prepare for a temple assault. Lundgren picked May 3rd, 1988, his birthday, as the day to recapture the temple, but later decided it was not yet time. The Averys, on the fringe of the group, allegedly, were invited to only a few of Lundgren's prayer meetings. By October 1988, the RLDS Church had excommunicated Lundgren. That's more than they did, well, the LDS Church did for Chad, because Chad did not get excommunicated till after his preliminary hearing. And so he had committed the murders. And so this is a big thing for the church. This is a big thing for the members. So many people were like, oh no, they're excommunicated. And I was like, what even does that mean? Excommunicated means not a damn thing to me. Okay? What is that? But it means that to them. So, but in rebuttal, I always say no, he was not. And who knows if Lori is. Who did we hear this from? Nate Eaton had mentioned that, or somebody, I'm trying to remember, that Lori has a bishop that comes and meets her. You know? So, can you be excommunicated and still have a bishop come meet you? Asking for a friend. Anyways, so in 1988, he was excommunicated by the RLDS. In early 89, Lundgren was stressing the need for his followers to go on a wilderness trip. Now, this could also be misconstrued for something else, because wilderness also means it's a code phrase, okay? By that time, both Kevin Curry and another follower, Shar Olson, had left the group, but Catherine and Larry Keith Johnson had joined. So here's the murders. In April of 1989, at Lundgren's direction, the group began preparing for the wilderness trip. Oh, well, wait. Okay, hold on. Let me go back here. Because why were they preparing for a wilderness trip if they were going to take over the temple? Hold on. Okay. Was stressing the need for his followers before. Okay. So they had to kill 10 people and go on this wilderness trip before Zion. Could be possible. And that little earthquake thing got to happen. Anyways. Okay, so... okay. In April of 89, at Lundgren's direction, the group began preparing for the wilderness trip. Those who worked left their jobs, and some brought provisions. Lori had some under her steps, if y'all remember. Provisions. Prepper pride. Supplies. Lundgren encouraged all of the followers to use up any of their available credit cards. All of the group members, including the Averys, gathered their worldly possessions. Around April 12th, 2 or 3 of the followers secretly began digging a 6 by 7 foot pit in the dirt floor of Lundgren's barn. Lundgren told Cheryl Avery to write and tell her family that they were going to Wyoming. Then Lundgren invited the Averys to dinner. It sounds like Melanie Pulaski when she told Brandon and the FBI agent that she was just, wanting to start new and go live over there in Boise and just start fresh. But didn't go there. Anyways, she's so full of shit. On April 17th, 89, Dennis, Cheryl, and their 3... no, this is trigger warning. And their 3 daughters ate dinner at the Lundgren's Lundgren's farmhouse. After dinner, Lundgren went out to the barn with his son, Damon, and 4 followers, Brand, Kraft, Winship, and Ron Luff. The Averys stayed in the house with the women and children. At Lundgren's direction, Luff individually led each Avery family member out to the barn. Here we go. Where each was bound and gagged by the men. After the men placed each Avery family member into the pit, Lundgren shot each person 2 or 3 times with a .45 caliber semi-automatic weapon. The men then filled, and this is interesting too, the pit with dirt and stones. It was like a layer of dirt, then it was a layer of stones, then there was a layer of clay. Okay, so that's actually, I forget where. Just know that. The months prior to Lundgren's arrest, this is the next little chapter. The next day, April 18th, police officers, and this is weird, okay? April 18th, police officers and FBI agents visited the Lundgren farm to investigate reports about the planned temple assault. This sounds like a bullshit. This to me sounds so conflated. What would they gain by that? Kind of like Chad building an invisible temple. Okay, right there, 2.5 or 2.6 miles away from the church where Alex, felt comfortable enough to sit and wait they're predators. So they could murder people. And it just doesn't make sense. Anyways, everyone interviewed said that they were at the farm voluntarily and denied knowing anything about, I'm sure there's a lot of this, denied knowing anything about plans to assault the temple. The FBI left without arresting anyone, and the group drove away on their wilderness trip. Lundgren selected mountain campsites near Davis, West Virginia, and the group lived in tents. Through October of '89, some of the followers took jobs and the men continued their military exercises. While in West Virginia, Lundgren chose Tanya Patrick as his second wife. Let me clear my throat. Okay, and I took something to drink. Had to drink me some Dr. Pepper. Alright. Okay, so he took Katherine Johnson as his second wife. That choice upset Larry Johnson. I bet it did. Sounds like her husband. Katherine's husband. And contributed to group dissension. By October of '89, Lundgren, his family, and about 10 of his followers moved to Missouri. However, more dissension occurred, and by the end of December of '89, Larry Johnson had contacted federal law enforcement authorities. Hold on. Wait. It said, hold on, the next day, April 18th, the FBI agents visited the FBI agents visited the day before the murders took place. Okay, so April 17th. So they were actually mapping and casing these people out. How did they let this go under the radar? By the way, I mean, that bothered me right away. Just think about that. Just marinate. Pun intended. Anyways, alright. So it pissed Mr. Johnson off, right? And contributed to the group's dissension. By October of '89, Lundgren, his family, and about 10 of his followers moved to Missouri. However, more dissension occurred, and by the end of December of '89, Larry Johnson had I already read all that shit. On January 3rd, 1990, Kirtland police began digging out the pit in the barn and found Dennis Avery's body. Police uncovered the other Avery family members' bodies, and the next day, That's what y'all watched in the very beginning of this, was that original news story. Lundgren had shot Dennis twice in the back and Cheryl 3 times in the torso. He shot Trina once in the head and twice in the body. Rebecca in the back and thigh, and Karen in the head and chest. The coroner found silver duct tape wrapped around the victims' heads, hands, and feet. The origin of 2 damaged bullets found at the scene was unknown. Police discovered that a .45 caliber semi-automatic weapon belonged to Lundgren, had fired all of the other bullets they recovered. Lundgren brought the weapon in 1987 and sold it in West Virginia in October of '89. On January 7th, 1990, federal authorities arrested Lundgren in California. We can talk about the conviction and sentence. During his open statement, Lundgren conceded that he had shot the Avery family, so he admitted to it. At the close of the trial, the jury found Lundgren guilty of 5 counts of aggravated murder, with each count containing 2 death penalty specifications. One of the specifications alleged multiple murders, and the other alleged a felony murder kidnapping specification. The jury additionally convicted Lundgren as charged with 5 kidnapping offenses. After further deliberation, the jury recommended the death penalty for each aggravated murder count. That's nuts. The trial court sentenced Lundgren to death on each aggravated murder count and two consecutive terms of imprisonment for each kidnapping offense. That's crazy. That's a lot. The Court of Appeals affirmed, at least they carried it out though, gotta give them that, because they executed him. The Court of Appeals affirmed the convictions and the sentences. The cause is now before this court upon an appeal as of right. Charles E. Colson, Lake County prosecutor, attorney, and Ariana, not Terragati, she's the assistant, whatever. David H. Boddicker, I'm not reading all these. Anyways, Lundgren has presented this court with 32 propositions of law concerning both the guilt and sentencing phases of his trial. And there's an appendix also. For the following reasons, we affirm the appeals court's judgment and uphold Lundgren's death sentences. The guilt phase. Oh my gosh, I'm not doing it on here too. So I'm going to have to stop after this. No, because I haven't found that other stuff yet. Oh my god. With his first proposition of law, Lundgren argues that massive pretrial publicity in Lake County necessitated a change of venue. In May of '90, Lundgren moved to change venue, later filed addendums, and then reviewed the motion at conclusion of the voir dire. Let me go ahead and open this in another... Nope. The trial court rejected any venue change. I wonder why. That's silly. Admittedly, the January 1990 recovery of 5 bodies from the Kirtland barn resulted in massive inflammatory statewide publicity. According to the Plain Dealer, the Lake County prosecutor publicly asserted that the members of the Lundgren group were the most inhuman people, this is quote, most inhuman people this county has ever seen, and they're going to die in the electric chair, unquote. According to the second addendum from January through August 9, 1990, the Lake County News Herald printed a total of, god dang it, I already did all this, so I might have to just sign it. Or, let me just put you here and then, hold on. And then, so what do y'all think so far? Like, isn't that crazy? But it's not all. It's like, wait, there's more. Wait, there's more. Let me look this up. Lundgren. Okay, here we go. All right. I had the whole damn PDF right here the whole time. I'm so silly. I swear. Some people's kids, right? And notes. Alright. Now I'm going to have to share my window. Alright, let me go check on you guys, see how y'all are doing. It is crazy. It is some crazy shit. But that's not all. It's nuts because it's so familiar, right? Anyways, it gets hot. It's swampy in here. Yes, you can. Yes, you may. You can volunteer on. Yeah. If you can think of it, according to Chadnum's doctrine, if you can think of it, then it's real. You know. Which I was watching that same YouTuber, Summer Sanchez, and you know, because I went to look for Jeffrey Lundgren, she covers it really good. Really good. Like, she's really good at telling it. She don't trip up on her words like me. She was covering another one, and I was like, wait, oh my God, that has Mormons too. You know, so there's a whole nother one. And guess what's involved? Thunderstorms. Okay. Thunderstorms. Something weird's going on. Right. But yes, Beach Bum is the honorary firing squad. Okay, so let me go ahead and share my window. And that way y'all can see the PDF too. Oh my goodness. Share screen. Okay. So I've done this only one time with Donna before. I think we were just practicing. Yeah, storms, right? So it worked the last time. Hopefully it works again. Donna, let me know if it doesn't. Hopefully you can see this PDF. Anyways, oh hell. Let's see, that's the cult. Okay, so here's my little notes. Oh, right here. According to Lundgren, his followers had to recapture the temple. An earthquake would elevate it, and Christ would return and establish Zion. And so I put, this was Lundgren's end game, a revelation that he received from God himself. I bet it was in the temple that he received this message. Does anybody else see the same message that Lori Chad received? Lori saw Jesus in, quote, near the initiatories. And that was according to Melanie Gibb when she was talking to Rexburg Police Department. In the same place, and this is what Melanie Gibb says, in the same place where Zulema saw Jesus. Right? So Zulema also received her second comforter, in my opinion. Okay. So, and then May 3rd, they picked this date. So the second coming of Christ was supposed to have occurred on July 22nd, 2020. Or, according to Melanie Gibb, August of 2020, right? So I want to know, it seems like there's the other one that Summer Sanchez, the YouTuber, covered on, I don't know the other one's names. They're younger even though, you know, like more my generation, I think. And it's nuts. Theirs was a little more bizarre, but it had to do with Colombian women also. And none of these people have repented. Okay? That's another thing. None of them have repented. None of them are just willing to say, I wish I could see their psych records, you know, like the doctors used and things like that, because that's interesting to me. What the hell? Okay, right here I'd written, around April 12th, 2 or 3 of the followers secretly began digging a 6 by 7 foot pit in the dirt floor of the Lundgren's barn. Lundgren told Cheryl Avery to write and tell her family that they were going to Wyoming. So I just made a note that Melanie Pulowski telling Brandon she was moving to Boise. At Lundgren's direction. Oh,
Krishna?
Yes, ma'am.
I think you're sharing the wrong screen here. We've got a ton of Facebook.
Was I muted the whole time? Probably. Let me make sure I'm not muted. Jesus Christ. This is not my day. Okay, I'm not. The little thing's going off. I'm sorry. I was talking the whole time. Okay. Let me get back to my PDF here. But yeah, it's because I shared the window, and I don't know enough about that. So continue. Let's see where I was at. So, I think I was talking about Lundgren told Cheryl. No, I already said that one. At Lundgren's direction, Luff individually led each Avery family member out to the barn, where each was bound and gagged by the men. After the men placed Avery family members into the pit, my note here says, Okay. The hell. Okay, so that's the end game. All right. So this, as far as we know, it's the same as JJ, and for all we know, Tylee too. You know, just I mean, because me and Jason have talked about this before at length. You know, and we talk about, you know, Tylee was, I mean, she was almost an adult. You know, she was just this close to breaking free of that shit. That's for sure. So I mean, she's like pretty much an adult, you know, size wise, and it's a lot of energy. They had, I mean, it makes me think of the Tyvek suits. It makes me think of the monkey mask. Even it makes me think of the duct tape and the rope and all the guns and the knives and all the weapons that Alex and Lori and allegedly Chad had. And I mean, it's so hard to dismiss these things. So as Lundgren got them to lead the Avery members of the family members out of that house one by one, Jason's always proposed, you know, that this might have been what happened to Tylee, you know, because but then I'm like, what was the point of going to Yellowstone? What was the freaking point? Well, I mean, was it just one last hurrah? Was it part of their what did I say the game was, American Race or whatever? Was it one of the places where they had to go smash it and say, okay, we accomplished this? It's weird. It's so weird. And it's messed up that I think like this, but I can't help it. It's where it brings me. I don't normally think like this. Now I can't help it. But so I wonder if they led Tylee out there to Chad's property. They told the Avery girls, the younger girls, their children, do you want to go look at a horse? And they were excited, right? And so of course any kid is gonna go wanting to go out there, and even the guy who led the 7-year-old little girl out, Karen, I think her name was. Yeah, Karen, age 7. The guy who led her out gave her a piggyback ride to the barn and then executed her. Okay? I mean, that's how sick and twisted these people are. But under the direction of, I think, something bigger, you know. You just don't have this many coinky dinks. I don't believe in them. Alright, so let me go down to the next. Okay, yeah, I was at the guilt phase, I think. Alright. It says 1, the guilt phase. Let me make sure. Let's see. Okay, conviction and sentence. I just want to make sure, because I mean, I've switched. So, the trial court sentence. Okay, yeah. Alright, so it's going to kind of repeat itself. But anyways, the guilt phase. With the first proposition of law, Lundgren argues that a massive pretrial publicity in Lake County necessitated a change of venue. In May of '90, Lundgren moved to change venue, later filed addendums, and then renewed the motion at the conclusion of voir dire. The trial court rejected any venue change. Admittedly, the January 1990 recovery of 5 bodies from the Kirtland barn resulted in massive inflammatory statewide publicity. According to the Plain Dealer, I think that's some kind of, you know, media, newspaper or something, I don't know. The Lake County prosecutor publicly asserted that the members of the Lundgren group were the most inhuman people this county has ever seen, and they are going to die in an electric chair. According to the second addendum from January through August 9, 1990, the Lake County News Herald printed a total of 227 Lundgren-related items. 227 now. Can you imagine how many I've printed on these folks? But anyways, Lundgren-related items, including 61 front-page articles. The Plain Dealer, the name of the company, widely circulated in Lake County, published some 123 articles, including 30 on the front page. In that same period, Cleveland television and radio stations frequently ran news and background stories about the murders. For example, Lundgren asserts that Channel 43 had 66 stories. Channel 5 had 112 stories. And Channel 8 had 169 stories. You know what I haven't heard? I just thought about this too. I have not, thus far, I have not ran across anything that says 144,000. So let me just make a note of that. Let me know if y'all run across anything. Although publicity diminished rapidly after January 90, media reports concerned the disposition of charges against Lundgren's followers kept the Kirtland massacre case in the public eye. So they called it the Kirtland massacre. In June of 90, Dr. Jack, I am not even about to say that, a defense psychologist, so for the defense, directed a community survey of some 201 Lake County residents who had been called for jury duty in 1989. According to that doctor, all those interviewed knew about the case, and 37.5% said they discussed the case a lot. Approximately 57% thought Lundgren was definitely guilty, 24% thought he was probably guilty, and just 19% did not know. On the basis of these and other answers, that doctor, that I don't know how to say his last name, concluded that Lundgren would not receive a fair trial in Lake County. However, in contrast, Dr. John Krosnick, a psychologist employed by the state, claimed that the defense psychologist had not conducted or interpreted the survey in a professionally this sounds so familiar, a professionally credible manner. Remember the survey person that the defense hired? The questions were ambiguous and poorly worded, and the results did not support the asserted conclusions. According to Krosnick, 23% of prospective jurors had only occasional media exposure, and 63% discussed the case a little or not at all. Also, at least 39% of those surveyed said they could serve as unbiased jurors. So just 39% of those surveyed could, say that they could, do it without being biased. So the crucial issue here is whether the trial court's refusal to change venue violated Lundgren's fair trial rights. The right to jury trial guarantees the criminally accused a fair trial by a panel of impartial, indifferent jurors. In the language of Lord Coke, what the hell? Lord Coke, a juror must be as indifferent as he stands unsworn. The Supreme Court reversed murder convictions because prejudicial pretrial publicity had impaired the defendant's fair trial rights. And they cited a Louisiana case, and it's Rito versus Louisiana in 1963. Lundgren asserted that pretrial publicity in the case was so pervasive that the trial court should have presumed that prejudice would occur. However, cases of presumed prejudice are relatively rare. I cannot talk today. This is not a good day for this. Oh my God. Pretrial publicity, even pervasive adverse publicity, does not inevitably lead to an unfair trial. Indifference does not require ignorance. Quote, in these days of swift, widespread, and diverse methods of communication. Man, that was back in the day. Scarcely any of those best qualified to serve as jurors will not have formed some impression or opinion as to the merits of the case. Let me see if I can find anything that is not just case. You know what I mean? Like, I've really enjoyed reading the similarities of this. It's nuts. I do have this also. Hold on. Just one second. Crap. Let me turn it up. Now this came off of a show, but it would probably, you know, copyright strike me if I like actually, you know what I mean, shared it verbatim, like the screen and everything. What am I trying to say? Anyway, so I'm just gonna play from my phone. It's a show called it was back in the 90s, Confessions of Crime. Okay, it's old.
Can someone be guilty of a crime they may only have set in motion?
You hear it? Sounds like some dang unsolved mysteries. But anyways, let me just kind of let me get past this part. Hurry up. Stop playing music.
They sat around, they had scriptural classes, they talked about the death of the Averys, they talked about how the Averys might be killed.
To execute people in the name of God is the most heinous crime I think I've ever heard of.
If those bodies had not been found, you'd still not be telling anybody that your husband was a cold-blooded murderer. Isn't that true? That's true. That's true.
Why can't we have those kind of theatrics in the damn courtroom? Or their interview room. Because that's all it is. Yeah, I'm sweating my ass off, dare. So look at me, I'm sweating like glory in the temple. Or a church. Let's just say a church. Oh, Lord. Okay, now you put me on the spot.
She was Joseph Mengele, the angel of death.
Okay, sorry. I talked. But listen, I have not seen this anywhere yet, but this lady says it, and I think she was the prosecutor.
Joseph Mengele, the angel of death.
So, Joseph Mengele, the angel of death, and she's talking about Alice. Okay? My will be done.
January 3rd, 1990. In the small Ohio town of Painesville, 5 bodies were exhumed from the basement of a farmhouse. They were identified as Dennis and Cheryl Avery and their 3 daughters, Trina, 13, Rebecca,
hold on, let me turn my thing back on.
9, and Karen, 5. All 5 had been bound with duct tape and then shot execution style in the back of the head. The Averys had belonged to a bizarre religious cult centered around 2 people, 43-year-old Jeffrey Lundgren and his wife, 39-year-old Alice. Within days after the bodies were found, the Lundgrens were caught and brought to trial for the cold-blooded murder of the Avery family. I'm Teresa Saldana. We need only recall the horrors of Jonestown, or the crimes of the cult family dominated by Charles Manson, to be reminded of what happens when a cult turns violent. How is it that otherwise decent people can go off the deep end, following their crazed leader? What kind of woman could marry, support, and even encourage such an evil person? Was Alice Lundgren a powerless pawn, brainwashed by her husband? Or was Alice a leader, a willing, enthusiastic, and crucial link in the warped plans of the cult? On tonight's journey into the mysteries of the criminal mind, we'll see Alice Lundgren's actual videotaped interrogation as we try to understand her role in this brutal and senseless murder. We will try to trace the motivations that caused Alice to follow her husband down his twisted road and led ultimately to a courtroom where she would stand trial in a fight for her life.
Alice is female. She's the wife of Jeffrey Lundgren. The original. The only wife. I mean, I don't know if him and whatever the other chicks, Karen Johnson. I don't know if it was, who knows, it was probably sealed in the temple. Allegedly. Alright. I don't want them to play all the music though. So I'm like, okay.
Alice was always a pretty dependable person. She never gave us any problems.
This is Alice.
Was pretty well behaved. If she said this is what I'm going to do, you could depend on that's what she was going to do. Her one goal in life was to be a nurse. And when she started to college, it was to be a nurse.
Alice had gone to a school that was affiliated with the RLDS church. She met Jeff in a church group. They were originally attracted to one another.
He was a nice appearing, well-mannered, caring person. And he treated us very nice. He always has treated us very nice. He's got along with all the rest of the family.
Well, he murdered people. It doesn't matter what the hell he did.
As far as we were concerned. And she decided that they had to get married before he left to go into the Navy.
Alice and Jeffrey Lundgren married on May 5th, 1970, and quickly started their family. Their eldest son, Damon, was born while Jeff was still in the Navy. After Jeff's discharge from the service, the Lundgrens settled down in Missouri and had 3 other children, Jason, Christian, and Caleb. In 1983, Jeffrey became...
Okay, so to answer Carrie's question, I had heard about Jeffrey Lundgren. I just never could remember his name. You know, I'm like, was it John? I thought it was, you know, just a spelling thing. And I orbit, you know. And so I'd run across it, I heard the name when I was looking up, you know, Chris Nemelka, another prophet, so to speak. But he was claiming that he had Chris Nemelka was claiming that he had the 116 pages, okay? There's a big write-up on it in the Salt Lake City, Salt Lake Tribune. And so, to answer your question, a long way, I'd ran across the name a long time ago, just never did remember the name. And then I had watched this YouTuber, Summer Sanchez. She has a YouTube channel. And I had watched it 6 months ago when she had first came out with it, but I slept since then. And then I ran across it again yesterday afternoon, and I was like, holy shit, you know. So I highly suggest you guys go and look at her channels. I don't know her channel, you know, the link or anything, but it's SOMMER Sanchez. And so she has a YouTube channel. I just threw the @Summer Sanchez in the chat, and it's about an hour and 40 minutes long, but she did way better than she's good at this. It wasn't live either. So yeah, and I was like, holy crap, so many similarities. There's, and I mean, I don't know where I saw the dancing and the it's just weird. Is it not? Is it not weird? There's so many similarities. I'm gonna just play this.
RLDS, the Reorganized Church of Latter-day Saints, an offshoot of the Mormon Church. 1 year later, he moved his family to Kirtland, Ohio.
He felt that coming to Kirtland was a place that he could learn, that he could gain power. He believed in the scriptures where it said, if you go to the Ohio to be endowed with power.
Okay, I'll read it because it's hard to hear. It's Alice.
1 year later, he moved his family to Kirtland, Ohio.
He felt that...
And she says, this is in her interrogation, January 7th of 1990. She says, and he felt that coming to Kirtland was a place that... I'm going to turn it down because it's very annoying.
Coming to Kirtland was a place that he could learn.
That he could learn. that he could gain power. He believed in the scriptures where it said that you go to the Ohio to be endowed with power. He went to Ohio to learn and to have power. Okay? And she followed. She was his wife. They're just playing some graphics. And like this dude right here, he gets on my nerves. He does like the Duper's Delight smile. I'm going to have to show y'all.
Basically said, you can't do that in the church anymore. That is not permitted. He stopped attending church, withdrew himself from it in terms of his presence, began holding meetings in his home or other places, and to make a long story short, began encouraging other people to withdraw their membership from the church.
After being thrown out of the RLDS, Jeff and Alice...
You know, this is kind of hard to do.
Basically said, you can't do that in the church anymore. That is not permitted. He stopped attending church, withdrew himself from it in terms of his presence, began holding meetings in his home or other places, and to make a long story short, began encouraging other people to withdraw their membership from the church.
After being thrown out of the RLDS, Jeff and Alice became the patriarch and matriarch of their own splinter church. 24 members of their former congregation followed them to a 15-acre farm just outside of Kirtland. It was there that things started to go very wrong. Jeff Lundgren began to describe himself as a prophet who was to protect his devoted followers from the fast-approaching day of judgment. He and his wife, constantly working on their followers' minds, soon completely controlled every facet of the cult's lives. The members' free will soon became submerged by Jeff Lundgren's thirst for power and secret obsessions.
He was able, in a very persuasive...
This is not very fast, and I've jacked my camera up. So, like, let me take it off real quick. Okay, the judgment thing, that's something I see riddled in all of the... everything. Everything. It's all about... I mean, I could probably pick anything up right now that's Mormon related, that's been written by patriarchs, by leadership in the church. You know how they everybody writes a book, everybody. So that's nothing special either. I mean, seriously, every freaking body writes a book. And we saw how Lori had visions of glory, which Jen dubbed visions of Lori, right? And I mean, it was basically like a map. It was like a how-to book. It's very important in this. But like I wish I could just right before I walked into here to come do the live stream, God dang it, I was reading a book, and it was one, I don't know, showing my camera. It was one, who was it written by? It's really thin. Jen gave it to me when I went to Salt Lake City while I was up in Boise. She gave me a lot of books, and then I bought a lot of books, and they're still at Mary's. So I need to get them down here. It's just nuts. It's riddled in there. It's all about the greater and the lesser, which the greater can mean, this is just me. This is what I pick up from it, is the greater means greater light and knowledge. That's what we heard from Jason Mao so many times. And not just Jason Mao, Mike Stroud. It's in the scriptures everywhere. I mean, it's everywhere. And so greater usually pertains to the Old Testament, whereas the lesser pertains to the New Testament. That's just what I've gathered. And that it also refers to those who are enlightened or elite or chosen. You know, they're in the club. And so the lesser would be Charles, Tammy, JJ, Joe, Charles, Tammy, JJ, Kylie. And another thing is the North. They always talk about the Assyrians or whatever, and how they're going to come out of the North, right? That's that whole Antarctica thing, in my opinion. It has all to do with the Dead Sea Scrolls and Enoch, but there's 2 Enochs, I've just learned. And anyways, it all goes to the giants. And a while back, if y'all remember, I shared with you guys Oprah, when I found Oprah. It's nuts. They're nuts. Whatever it is, it's producing this. I just seem to feel, I can't help it. There's too many claims. There's too much denial. It just doesn't make sense. And just the, what do you call it? Just the, end game, whatever you want. I don't know what to call it right now. I'm blank. What does Chad and Lori gain from opening a church 2.5 miles, an invisible church at that? If that's where the property is. Okay, I just thought about that. If that's where the property is. Still, in little bitty Rexburg, Salem, Idaho. You know? But yet they're tithing active members. They are attending temple like a mofo. It does not make sense. So, it just, who has more to gain by that narrative? That's the word I was looking for. Who benefits from that narrative? Does Chad and Lori benefit? Like, hey y'all, hey, come over here. We're going to start our own church. Or are they being told? I was told. You go get your answers, Chad would tell Lori. I'm going to get my answer. Who's telling them something? Who's telling them? It's weird. And in my opinion, when it goes rogue like this, you know, then that's when the church, in my opinion, in my little theory here, that's when the church gets to put out its narrative and say, hey, no, distance, deny, distance, lie, obstruct. Sorry, seen it one too many times. They were doing a horrible job getting their $144,000. That's a whole nother thing. I really think, because it's all about equality also. That's the thing. It's the balance of the male and the female energies. And that's where they get to start talking about Heavenly Mother, because Mormons don't really talk about Heavenly Mother. Okay? It's kind of frowned upon. I mean, they're just kind of like, don't be talking about it a little too much, girl. You know. I don't know how close it is, Carrie. Not. Okay, I mean, I just ran across it last night, so I really don't know it without, you know, having it right in front of me. I'll look it up though later. But that's central to this. That's it's like I want to just tell you what I think, but it sounds so crazy. I mean, I'm like, this sounds so freaking crazy. But it's designed that way. Just like I think the whole ritual murder thing is designed. I think it's designed to sound outlandish. What did they do whenever Lori, who we always said, she ain't crazy. I mean, she's crazy. She's not that kind of crazy. It does not make sense. I can't make it make sense. She has her wherewithal. You know, she knows right from wrong. She knows. I feel like this is my intuition. This is I just rebuke it, you know, to settle for what's being fed to me. What here, this is what happened, you know. Shh, you know. I feel like she started saying, hey, no, I did this in righteousness. She told that to Rob Wood, allegedly. Or he told that to Summer. He said, your sister thinks what she's done has been done in righteousness. Because that's what her, in my opinion, that's what her living prophet, not Chad, they were deceived by their leaders, in my opinion. Then the crazy got let out the bag, and they had no problem, though, attending the sacrifices, okay, and offering up the burnt offerings, okay. I don't know how. It ain't my job. How can I with a church that's so untruthful? It's not me. It's not my crazy. I'm just trying to make sense of their crazy that they purport and put out into this world, and that affects. I'm in Louisiana. I don't have a temple here, and yet it affects my life big time. It just does. And it affects a lot of people's lives. And I mean, they could overthrow the government. Really. $100 billion that they lied about from 98 until they got caught by the whistleblower, David Nielsen. They can overthrow the government if they wanted to. The Mormons could just go pull out their $100 billion and then, holy shit. It's freaky. It's everybody's problem, in my opinion. Totally narcissist. No contact, yeah. No kidding. Right? No contact. Don't feed it. You don't feed it. It just doesn't make sense. I try. Trust me, I've tried. Until I started seeing something, and I was like, it's not adding up. So it makes me think. This is what I think of whenever they said Lori went to the mental ward. That was nasty. That was, y'all know. It ain't right. Not the way it was handled. It was not handled right. Not for Kurt and McConkie to call Rob Wood and just be like, hey, you know, Lori called. I told her I knew everything about her case, but, you know. So Mark Means filed that, you know, Lori trusted those attorneys, even though they're LDS helpline attorneys, allegedly. And they intercept phone calls. Does that not make sense to other people? Like, you know, I mean, am I the only one seeing it? I know I'm not. But I feel like she was in jail and she was saying, no, I did it in righteousness. Whatever. I'm just going to say it. I sacrificed my children. You know, President so-and-so. Yeah, I'm just saying. Or General Authority so-and-so. Or whatever. Was there. Or, I don't know how it works. I just know that it's not cool. It's not cool. I feel like she started to maybe do a plea agreement even. And if I could just remember the rest of my sentence, I could tell y'all. All these times, it just doesn't make sense. None of this narrative makes sense. None of it. Squeaky wheel question. Kresha, you're allowed 10 minutes in a room with Lori. Only you, her, and a baseball bat. How do you and her emerge 10 minutes later? Honestly, I dissociated from her whenever I saw her walk into the courtroom that day in March of 2020. And that's when I just looked on my TV. I watched her walk in and out. Or yeah, I watched the whole bond. Was it the bond hearing? At least it's not the $20 million like that guy that just got arrested for murdering his 3 sons. Oh my God, in Ohio, y'all. Oh, his name is Chad too. Nuts. $20 million bond. And he already admitted to it. It's crazy. Not a Mormon. But I need to move that thing. So when I saw her walk into the courtroom that day, I dissociated from her. It was just turn out the lights, the party's over. I didn't know who she was. She was gone. She is gone. I don't know who that is. That's a carcass. She's the zombie. So I don't know. I'm very compassionate, and I would ask her. I wouldn't be violent. That's not me. I talk a lot of caca, but I just know that's not what Jesus would want me to do. I would ask her if she was took part in the second anointing. I about wanted to jump out my skin one day, the day David Warwick was there. And I was like gonna motion to her, like, call me, whatever. I just want to know. I don't care about anything else. I just want to know. Not that I'll get the answer, but you know what I mean. But that's how I would just ask her questions. Whether she answers me or not, or how she answers them or not, that would be... And how I feel about things, this is my belief system, is that, God wants all of His children to come home. Doesn't mean that they're going to, but He wants all of them to. And if somebody breaks her shelf, or she finally allows her shelf to be broken, that means she's going to have to come to terms with all the horrible, horrible things that she has done. And how she gets to spend the rest of her life tripping over her damn shackles. That's why she was laughing when she came out of the courthouse the other day. She was tripping over her shackles, and she was laughing about it, and I was just like, nice. I don't know her anymore, though. She has departed long time ago. She's not the Lori that we knew. I'm not saying she was ever a good mom or a good person. Hindsight's 20/20, and it's a hell of a luxury. It's not the Lori that we knew. It's not. So I just know that God would want me to treat... He does, and that's what I'm supposed to do. Is I'm supposed to do it by showing other people grace. Not just saying it, not just like, oh yeah, I believe in grace. Grace, grace, grace. That seems to be the pattern with the Mormons, in my opinion. They can talk it, but they don't know how to show it. And not all Mormons, just the narcissistic ones, okay? And so, yeah, I would just treat her like I'd want to be treated. Not saying I would trust her, or, you know what I mean. Just, God wants all of His kids, all of His children to go home to Him. I want her shelf to break. I can help her with that. I don't know how. But that way she can really come to terms with what she's done and the life ahead of her that she caused, that she has to be held accountable, as she says. Then I think that's when the true journey could happen for her. And she could come to know my God. That's just me. But anyways, I can say, yeah, I'd beat her ass with a baseball bat. I talk a lot of stuff. You should have heard me every time I'd go into the courtroom. I mean, Whitney would be like, what? And I'd be like, no, I'm just talking shit. Just let me be. I don't mean it. Don't be calling nobody over here. But I'd be like, I'll whip her ass. You know? I mean, I talk a lot of crap. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not... Right. Squeaky wheel. Yeah. Oh, I like that, Cherry Pie. She says, yes, God has everyone's picture on his refrigerator. Right? I hope JJ's knocking it down. You know what I mean. Not disrespectful, but... Anyways, Squeaky Will says, correct answer. I'm not going to go to jail over that bitch. Let God deal with her when she gets there. Exactly. Because she will stand before him, to use her own words. And Melanie Gibb, and we will stand there together. It's bad that I have that memorized. T.S. Jackson says it started as a grooming process, so to speak. They don't hit you with everything. The scary part is when you leave. I am good now. Much gratitude to you. Aww. That's awesome. The local paper, Corkius, thank you. Jay says, wishful thinking that wall. Figured that. I just now got it. Yeah. My friend Jen used to always say that she would picture Lori running into the wall and just waiting on it like, okay, it's not cracked yet. Damn. You know? Interesting. Yeah. Lee here says God knows everything and everything is his plan, right? If so, he created these people to do these things. He created people to send to a hell he created, and that he could change it all and only him. I'll have to think about that. I don't know. I know. I mean, I already understand that. I kind of feel like you're atheist, maybe. My real dad is too. And I mean, the way we come together on that is, I don't have those kind of answers. I mean, nobody does. It doesn't hurt, but it doesn't hurt me to believe in God. You know, like I don't know how to explain that. I don't hang on to every little scripture word that was written by men. Okay. I understand that. You know, the Bible was written by man. And that I really don't. I know I read more of the Book of Mormon than I have the Bible. That's not me. This isn't me, you know. This is me now. But I always was taught or raised that it's just mainly for guidance, you know. And the way I go about it or whatever, I guess, is more like a reference, a moral compass. There to tell stories. Believing in God does not hurt me. Nor does it hurt anybody around me. If anything, my belief in God strengthens me in a lot of ways, and it helps me to cope with life down here or here. I don't know where we go after this. I have no idea. I used to be scared to die until my nephew was murdered, my uncle was murdered, and my cousin was murdered. And then I was like, why are you, I don't want to die, you know, but I have no say-so. I have no control over that, you know. And nor do I want to try and play God, you know, and unalive myself, or, you know what I mean, or anybody else. So, book of instructions before leaving Earth. Oh, thank you, Cherry Pie. Oh, that's a good one, T.S. Jackson. I mean, they're talking, but she says, L. Ron Hubbard said, if you want to get rich, start a religion. He founded Scientology. Right. Look at all these mega churches and, you know, I mean, there's that televangelist, Kenneth Copeland. That dude's like, grow, hair, grow. And you're like, oh, you can't. Then there's that really wackadoodle dude. He was talking about autism one day. He's a televangelist also. Oh, I don't remember his name. But anyways, y'all might he did like a book burn. Yeah, he burned all the I don't know, books, Harry Potter stuff. And he was talking about kids with autism. And this goes in a lot of circles that I've, you know, along the way I've just kind of noticed or heard or whatever, how they feel about kids with autism or disabilities, or, you know what I mean. Look how many times David Warwick brought it up. Oh, I have a Down syndrome autistic boy. I mean, really? It's like he was name dropping, in my opinion. And that's what my friend Jen told me is very, very, very patterned in these people. Is like Lori maybe couldn't have any more kids, right? So, hey, she's so unhappy with herself, right? And so baby will fix it, right? That's that whole mentality, you know? Like, I'm not happy with myself, so we're gonna adopt a baby, you know? And so they do. And then it's like a crutch also. It's like a free meal ticket also. It's like the latest purse or fashion sunglasses or whatever. Like an accessory or something, like, because she gets to be like, well, the struggles we have. You heard her. You've heard her, Lori, talk about her warrior mentality, whatever. And you're just like, okay. But they talk it, but they don't do it. That's just it. Greg Locke. Yeah. Yes. Said that autism is demonism. Thank you, Donna. Yeah. I was like, huh, what? And I think I'd read with you guys. I know a couple of you are in here now, but I'd run across that. I don't remember what it was called, but it was like it would say, you know, it's basically demons, right? It wasn't Mormon. It was probably this televangelist type, you know, rhetoric. And some people were like, oh my God, that's horrible, because the way they were saying about schizophrenic people, and they're just so, like, they blame it on a demon or whatever. And I mean, I get it. I mean, I see both ways, you know. It can be a demon or it could be a physiological problem, whatever, you know. They might have just needed their ass whipped when they were kids, like me. Yeah. That was even some of her passwords, Jay. She says that I found it annoying that she considered herself a mom of 5, yet Charles's kids have said she didn't treat them well or that way at all. Yeah, and no. That was some of her passwords, though. 5 kids and something. Basically what she told my mom. 5 kids and, well, she didn't say, and the sister gets it all. I don't think those visionaries saw that one coming. But, and then Rhonda reminds me of my mom's alter ego. No. She's a zombie, right? I can't believe my mom didn't know that. I mean, I watched her mom and Larry's interview on Surviving the Survivor, and I think Gigi had mentioned it about mom being named an evil entity, or somebody asked a question about it in the chat, and mom was like, you know, and so Gigi explained it to her, and mom, you know, and I'm over here like, been knowing that, or not, I didn't know the name, but I knew that she was on their hit list, you know, she was dark, and she was next, trust me, or she was up there in the hierarchy of offing people, had they not been half caught. Because then it really pissed me off that Chad was still just going. I was like, oh my God, what about the rest of them? You know? And so that's why I keep bringing up the whole, I need to write me a list of the dang other cult people. What's their last name? Ervil LeBaron. How he was in prison and died, and people were still getting murdered that was on his hit list. So, you know, I hope mom has life insurance. Joking. It's nuts. So, I mean, are you ever safe? Is she? Are we? Are you? Anyways, Rhonda says, my friend's wayward daughter just this week told him and her mom she's pregnant. 16 years old. She was doing all kinds of things for attention. Then winds up with child. Accidental, in my opinion. No, ma'am. It's because, I mean, my mom got pregnant when she was 16 with me. I'm glad, you know, I mean, I'm glad to be here. But my grandfather was so Catholic, okay? And I get it now. See how that worked. I didn't know that about my grandfather. My Papa Vallo, so that's Charles's dad. That's my mom's dad. And yes, I didn't like going over there so much because he was so Catholic. He was holy roller. But he didn't push it on me. However, he kind of shoved it onto his children. So it fascinates me as to why or how Uncle Charles went from one extreme literally to another. And it just, it's so interesting to me. So interesting. You know, like, was he seeking attention from his dad? Probably. That's my guess. And maybe his mom? I don't know. They did divorce when they were, when my mom was right before my mom got pregnant with me. So, see? Single home. I mean, she lived with my grandfather and she got pregnant. You know? Probably a little upset because her parents divorced after so many years. Don't know. Mom really doesn't talk about this, you know. It's just never really come up, so I find it interesting. I like to learn more about it. It helps me to understand things, you know, in my childhood, the way I grew up, the way I saw things, what I was allowed to see, what I was not allowed to see, or what I was protected from and what I was exposed to. It helps me understand me also. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know what subject this is, but love is blind for sure. With LDS and the cult I was in, I relate to a lot of it. They formally call themselves SPTV. Yeah, but like my grandfather had, you know, my Momo Mary, she is still alive, okay? I need to call her, actually. My Momo Mary, that was my Papa Vallo. He married my Momo Mary. She's my step-grandmother. So that would be Charles and my mom's stepmom. And, you know, she was just as Catholic as my papa. And she loved Uncle Charles, you know. And she's so sweet. She's such a gracious woman. She reminds me a lot of my great-grandma, which was my uncle's favorite. It was my Uncle Charles's. I know I'm throwing you off now. My mama, my stepmama, Valo, reminds me a lot of my great-grandmother, which was Uncle Charles's favorite person in the world, besides cherry pie. Yeah, that was his grandma. And it's crazy how we do tend to attract. I mean, I do. I mean, my mama Trahan just passed away this year in January. She was my stepmama also, but you couldn't tell at all, you know. She never treated me any differently. And her birthday is April 1st. And it makes me just kind of giggle inside because Chad's trial starts April 1st. And, but my mama was no fool. That's for sure. She was a kick-ass woman. Uh-oh. My computer just glitched. Lee here says Catholic is so crazy, in my opinion. I've started to read some things, some article, you know, as I come across them. And, whew, I think all man-made religion, in my opinion. This is just how I feel. Yeah, I respect everybody's whatever, you know, just don't murder people. That's all. Or gaslight them. Or make them think they're crazy. But I think all man-made religion, it has a narrative to it. It's man perverting. You know, it could be the directions on how to play Monopoly, and people. I mean, come on, have you played Monopoly? There's always the banker, my mom. Then there's always the person. You know, there's different personalities. But the banker, or the directions or whatever, people tend to twist them as they go. I listen to my kids as they, you know, play and play hide and seek in the house or whatever, and they change the rules as they go. It's hilarious. I'm like, there they go, changing them rules again. Just do it as you go, off the whim, you know? And, I mean, it's the same thing. Same kind of behavior, in my opinion. Oh, no, you don't. You do not ever offend me. Not at all. I actually think that's, oh my God, you want to come on as a guest? Ever? And I'm being serious. I know I giggle a lot, but I'm being serious. If you ever want to. Not trying to put you on the spot, but insight is so important, in my opinion. I love getting other people's perspectives. Yeah, I'd say all religion is man-made. Yeah, I think. I did hear, and I mean, I don't know, ran across it. Y'all know algorithm, right? It was, Roseanne Barr, right? Oh, it's not going to play because it's got the little white thing on it, but piece of shit. Piece of shit phone. With my wonky Wi-Fi. I swear. One day when I get big, I'm going to have some real Wi-Fi that doesn't do anything bad. Nope, still ain't going to play. How are you unable to play a video? But I don't even know if I can read it because it won't play. Its belief is, how do you put it? I don't remember. It sucks. I have no short-term memory whatsoever. Oh my God. Is she a Capricorn? I'm just asking. My mom is. I don't think I've ever finished a game of Monopoly. Exactly. Oh my God. It's so long. I don't like it. I mean, it's fun, and I'm like, okay, I'm bored. Lil Brands agrees with you. Hey, Lil Brands, how you doing? Good to see you, girl. Let's see. Hold on, my computer's... I might have to go because it's acting stupid. I see the Wi-Fi thing and it's not letting me click on stuff. He went to save the kids. He knew something was up. He wanted to get JJ. Let's see. I'm glad you're out of it, though. Char. Congratulations. Oh my God. I love Leah Remini. Straight up. I liked her as an actress when she was on King of Queens or whatever. And then through this, I've come to learn about her early on. You know, I was like, oh, you know, because she's funny. And I always admired her. And I'd have never guessed that she was in, you know, in Scientology. And I mean, I like her. And I look up to her because she's brave. She's outspoken. She's a voice. And she's standing up to a multi-billion-dollar corporation. I look up to her a lot. So that's who I aspire to be more like. If I could, you know, name somebody. And I used to joke about it and say that I'm going to be the real Lemony of the Mormon Church. Yeah. Be careful what you say. Shit materializes somehow. Yeah, I mean, I've been looking into some cases over in England even. Just anything to do with the human sacrificing thing. It's been going on for millennia. Let me just say it like them cuckoo birds. Millennia, right? And it just seems to always just sound crazy enough and cuckoo enough to where people are not going to believe the victim. And that is horrible. And so I can't imagine experiencing ritual abuse or whatever and nobody believing me. I mean, you have to wrap your head, it's from what I've learned, what I've watched, what I've observed and read. I mean, the stuff that I'm just like, that is crazy. The stuff that these victims who do live to tell talk about and recall, and I'm just like, oh my God, that's some horrible, what? It just sounds out of this world. And I mean, for a long time I was like, I'm still can be like that. I'm just like, oh, that's very uncomfortable. You know, but I mean, if people will kill for belief, then why not? The rest of the story is freaking crazy. What's the damn difference? So if anybody thinks that Chad and Lori's crazy ended with them, or do y'all think he continues? Is it still up higher? That's where I'm at. I think it's a learned behavior. I'm not a doctor, but that's just what I've witnessed. That's what I've seen. That's what I see. It's the same behavior, just they got a lot of money and they are protected by the corporation and the money that gives them power. And so that's what happens when Chad and Lori, if they were to continue on, they continue to self-exalt, and then, oh shit. I mean, money, power, and sex. I think that's kind of anybody who goes rogue, or you know what I mean, just plays God. You don't have to be a Mormon. You don't have to be even religious. If you just go and egotistical and just an asshole, then yeah, that's what you're gonna get. I don't know. There's just so much crap. I'm gonna try and figure out a way to share. Maybe I can upload the rest of that oh my god, I can't even say his name now. Lundgren. To Vimeo or something, and maybe I can show the link, or okay, I can show this. I made this, and then we'll end with this. Let me share my screen. Let me stop sharing my screen and then share it again. Oh wait, I gotta do this. Not settings. I get button happy. I'm so sorry, y'all, that I was so choppy today. Like, sometimes it's just like that, unfortunately. Let me try and just get my thoughts, huh? So this is, I found this song and I was like, oh my god, it's perfect. So thank y'all for being here. I'm gonna go and read through the comments too, and I just want to see what you have to say about Jeffrey Lundgren and Chad Daybell, and I have more time now to kind of familiarize myself with it and learn more about it. But yeah, y'all definitely go check out Summer Sanchez's channel on YouTube. She's got a good little playlist right there that she's done herself. She's only been YouTubing for 8 months, and she's very well put together. But support her and check it out. I think it's called Blood Atonement, Jeffrey Lundgren Murders, or something like that. But yeah, definitely do your own research. it's empowering. Anyways, I'm gonna leave on this note. Love you guys.
Money, power, and sex. That's what this case is about. It didn't matter what obstacles she had to remove to get what she wanted. And if it was a person, it didn't matter. All I want is money, power, and I think I money, power. All I want is money, power, and I think I
Question number 3. In regards to count 3 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow and grand theft by deception? Answer, guilty. Question number 4. In regards to count 4, the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of first-degree murder of Joshua Jackson Vallow? Answer, guilty. Question number 5. In regards to count 5 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell? Answer, guilty. Question number 6. In regards to count 7 of the amended indictment, is Lori Noreen Vallow not guilty or guilty of grand theft? Answer, guilty. Dated this 12th day of May, 2023, signed by Presiding Officer.
They got the bitch. Well,